welcome to the Jesu Otaku anime review. Today's review is about Lord of the Flies in space, except for there are no British kids and nobody's worshipping crustacean remains. Although British space crabs sounds like a pretty wicked idea for a show, doesn't it? We begin the story seeing Double. Twin boys Rai and Thor have been dumped on the desolate planet of Chimera after their parents got on the unfriendly side of the Prime Minister Odin the Nasty and were killed. Now, why Tweedlewhiny and Tweedlebutch here weren't killed is anybody's guess, but we soon find out they are identical in voice and body only. Rai is a tender-hearted weenie who can't survive well in this menacing environment where vegetables eat people rather than the other way around, while Thor is blessed with an ungodly amount of testosterone for his age and rises to the challenge of having to fend for himself. For they're not the only human beings on the wild planet. Anyone the government wants to disappear ends up on Chimera, where they have been split into tribes by skin color and established that one must return to their animal nature in order to earn respect or even survive.
The people here have a name for this planet, where only a king of animals can survive. Planet of the Beast King.
Thor struggles with this idea because of his obligation to protect his useless brother.
Bob, we should have just stayed back there with Zoggy. If this is what it's gonna be like, we're already dead. All right. Fine then. Die out here. I'll leave you right where you're sitting. You won't last 3 days. Thor, stop it, you're scaring me.
But before he can enforce any pest control, his work is done for him.
Hang
The gravity of Rai's death drives Thor to new determination. He will live as humanly as possible in the savage world, no matter the cost, and what's more, he will beat the man-beasts at their own game and defeat all the other tribe leaders to become the Beast King, an honor which is rumored to merit freedom from Chimera, Juose, planet of the Beast King, and a return to civilization. It's a rumor, but it's the only way he can return to space and take vengeance on Odin for the death of his family. On the technical side of things, the animation is Studio Bones, which means it is awesome. This is greatly aided by the fact that the show is only 11 episodes long and can squeeze the most out of its budget, which it does for the most part. The music is nothing particularly special. In fact, it can be a little too melodramatic at times, but the opener and closer heavily remind me of 90s top 20 hits. The acting performances are also quite well done in the show. For the dub, I was surprised at how mellow the acting was for a show that begs to be very melodramatic, but in hindsight, it's probably good that the actors chose to be less cartoony and more down-to-earth. It's still very dramatic, don't get me wrong, but it's not Code Geass or anything. I was also very happy to hear a new hero voice from Thor's character. Sean Teague has this perfect youthful gentleness, a sharp contrast to the rough, brutal supporting cast all around him.
Just as Zoggy said, I survived by leaving Rai to his death. And I thought my only way off this planet was to abide by the system. Become the top of a ring, then the Beast King. That's the only way. And I despised my brother. But at the same time, I loved him just as much.
I did keep having flashbacks to my old otaku days, as Teague isn't actually a new voice so much as one I haven't heard in a very long time. Actually, the same could be said of Little Thor, but moving on, great work all around.
Think about it. No animal is more dangerous than a human. Don't trust Zoggy.
The only thing I can compare the show to is a good old Ray Bradbury short story. It's pure, undiluted science fiction classic with lots of technobabble, weird societies, epic fighting, and strong themes about humanity, nature, and the morality that gets sandwiched between them. So the question is, does the show do it well?
For the most part, the answer is yes. Again, this show is only 11 episodes long, and it has to cover Thor's life from Runty Kid to Beast King in that time, so you're not going to have any filler material, but at the same time, the story surprisingly didn't feel rushed, except in its very final episode that, while fitting overall, could have used some heavy rewrites and some raw meaty places. On the contrary, I wonder if it could have held up with any validity if it was longer, as some of the plot twists are a little silly, and it can be very predictable at times. I swear, there are a couple of characters that could walk on screen with name tags that say, "I'm going to die in 10 minutes," and it would be less obvious. Still, these are minor flaws considering how very well the story flows at the breakneck speed it must, and for its few contrivances, the story also has some wicked good twists that bring out the best in its shocked little posse of players. But character development is an important part of sci-fi, where motives are going to be needed for bizarre behavior, and on that front, I don't know that Juose delivers too well. The writing is fine, so the real problem is just too many characters, not enough time. Still, our leads, the 3 Ts, as I like to call them, Thor, Tiz, and Third, yes, his name is a number, you find out why later, are quite interesting enough, despite the fact they have to spend so much time updating you on the plot as we zip it through the years at a speed that necessitates a gallon of Dramamine. It can feel very after-school special sometimes, though, when the characters just start spouting exposition, morals of the story, and their profound emotional problems. It's just a necessary evil for this anime's length. Now, if you like sci-fi like I do, then the most fun you're going to have with this series is discovering the savage rules and social stigmas of the jungle hell of tomorrow. Most amusing is the series' take on women. Okay, so there are roughly a quarter as many women as there are men on Chimera, I think, and they're all criminals, so of course the men would probably trade them like property and mate with them like crazy, right?
Oh, don't worry, nobody here is going to hurt you. They can't, because I've chosen you to be my husband.
Since there are so few women on Chimera, they've been given the right to choose their own mates.
Yeah, but
Get it?
it's absolute.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, no, this series was written by an optimistic woman. Possibly a racially insensitive woman, too, seeing as what the Blanc ring does to the Night ring late in the series is anything but PC. Still, this idea does allow for some great interaction between Thor and Tiz that is uncomfortable, but in all the good ways.
When the next month of joining comes around, you and I will be having a child. And I'm not taking no for an answer.
You heard the woman, Thor. Bang her for the good of mankind. I take back what I said about his testosterone. Apparently, he used it all up at age 10. Juose Planet of the Beast King is available from Funimation. The original manga by Natsume Itsuki is available from Tokyo Pop.
All in all, this is good basic sci-fi with nary a stutter from beginning to end. It's so good I think I'll give it the Stargate Award, which is kind of like the Gateway Drug Award, except for it applies just to, like, nerds getting into anime instead of the general population, which is much easier. Trekkies and non-otaku will eat this up. However, it's really close to a 3 stars, but I have to bump it down for sophomoric character development and some very questionable plot twists. I give this show 2.5 carnivorous plant monsters. Out of 4. Jesus, cold!
Maybe